Okay, good morning. Thank you all for joining us for our third webinar already in our low-code series. This session is being recorded and we will share it with you afterwards. It will be posted on our websites and it's also linked on YouTube. Don't hesitate to send us your questions. There is a chat option below. You can type in your question and we will answer them at the end of this session. So, our low-code series, it consists out of 4 online sessions. During the first session, we talked about the vision of Mendix. And today we are going to talk how to use Mendix in a manufacturing context. We have one session left at the end of June. It's a hands-on session where we will build live, real-time, a low-code application. So that's for the makers amongst yourselves, not to be missed. So my name is Bart. I'm the founder of Apyx, and I'll be your virtual host for the coming 30 to 40 minutes. So Apyx, we are a digital consultancy company. We help organizations cope with the increasing demand for digital products or software applications, if you want. And for us, the Mendix platform is the ignition to make IT departments more efficient. It's to give business users a certain way of autonomy when it comes to digitalization and innovation. And this is perhaps the most important one. It can be a start, it can be the spark for renewed level of empathy and collaboration between IT and business users. So let's begin. I'm very happy to introduce Victor de Saitet from Siemens, our central guest this morning. So Victor, I will stop sharing and then you can take it away.
Thank you, Bart. So Bart, if you just can confirm that you see my screen.
Yes, perfect.
Okay, great. Warm welcome also from my side. My name is Victor de Saitet, and I am responsible for the cloud business for Siemens in Belgium, which mainly covers 2 topics. For one, Mendix, our low-code platform, and also MindSphere, our industrial IoT platform. So let's start off. And I think this is a message that you have seen a few times already. I think if you've followed a few webinars, but it's very much true. We used this slide also before. Everything is changing at a speed which we have never seen before, and yet again, it will never be this slow. So we really need to change the way we do business, and I think Mendix is one of the things that will help you to transform this business. And if we look more in depth to a manufacturing context, we see a few trends. The first one is the smarter manufacturing or Industry 4.0, that we need to be more performant for one, but also to predict better. So how can I meet my demand with the current supply? How can I increase my supply? How can I do cost reductions and so on? How can I integrate new technologies in order to help me drive these predictions and these performance optimizations? And also flexibility is becoming a huge topic. Within businesses, we need to be flexible in order to customize products, in order to drive new innovations, shorten the time to market, and so on. And I think the most important thing, and for one of the trends I'm a real believer, is the new business models which are coming. And we see a mass servitization, and I think in these VUCA times, I think it's very important that people start thinking about how can we change our model from a product view towards more services, and that you have a continuous revenue stream coming in rather than just selling one product one time, and then you're very reliant on demand decreases, which has a huge impact during the last times. And we at Siemens, we think for manufacturing companies to meet these trends, it's very much important that you start with a digital twin. And what do we mean with digital twin? What you see here is throughout the whole value chain, you see how a product is made, how the production is then planned, and how the production is then done, and the product eventually is used. And in this topics, Siemens is quite strong. But in order to create these digital twins, you have a product digital twin, which is the product design phase, a virtual representation of the product. You have the production digital twin, which is a virtual representation of your production process. And then you have also the performance digital twin. And we think that these three are vital in order to create a real digital twin. And how do we do this? We create this performance digital twin by coupling back actually data from production and product towards your virtual environment where you design and plan actually your product and production. So these are quite standard things. We in Siemens, we have all the tools there in order to help you creating these digital twins. But what we see more and more happening is that around these digital twins, there's a huge need of developing applications. And these applications can vary a lot, but we see that rather than previously, we were more thinking about, okay, how can we buy certain products? We see more and more the need also to develop your own applications and make applications yourself. So if we map this towards low code, I want to use the base layer model of Gartner in order to explain what we actually built with low code, because there is also a lot of confusion around this. And if you take a look, Gartner explains this in three layers. You have, first of all, your system of records, which is your SAP system, your Team Center system, your Op Center, your Semantic IT, and so on. And this is actually, these are systems which are there for a long time, but which are quite standard. Next to this, you have a system of differentiation, where you actually are differentiating from your competitors here. This can be done by making applications yourself or by implementing certain workflows and so on. And then the third layer is the system of innovation. This is where the cool stuff is always happening. And a lot of people see that only in this area, low code is of value. Actually, if you take a look at where low code can be applied, it's mostly in both the system of differentiation and the system of innovation, because there you really need to build new applications in order to differentiate or innovate. And I think this is where it's of vital importance that you can be flexible and agile, and rather than in your system of records where you have few changes and you have huge requirements that your production remains operational. It is vital that you, in your differentiation and innovation layer, that you are flexible and you have a rapid rate of change, so that you can really focus on driving new initiatives and responding to the market quite fast. So in order to make manufacturing smarter, I think we think it seems that it's vital to embrace the application development, something which was less done, especially in smaller companies. I think this is becoming more and more a strategic necessity. Also, we need to empower and enable our team. So what we mainly saw is that applications are developed by IT, and that business has not a lot of say in it. That the business is not really much influencing how the applications are made, or that IT can't grasp the requirements well enough, or requirements change during a process. So that this is where we see that we also need to involve our business people with the process knowledge of our processes, but also of our product that we build. And then a last point is the connected, so the integration. If we are going to extend systems, if we are going to drive new innovations, these need to be interconnected with other systems. And this is very much important, because this might seem easy, but in your factory, I can imagine that you have a lot of different systems using a lot of different vendors. Some more aged equipment, for instance, or aged systems, which you also want to connect. Well, this is also of huge importance. And this is actually why I think these 3 points, why I think that it's important that we bought Mendix, I think around 1.5 years ago, in order to help our customers also with these new challenges which are coming up. Mendix doesn't only allow you to go faster, but we also have a lot of different building blocks which help you actually to reuse things and to connect to different systems, but more on that later. Also, Mendix allows you to build multi-experience applications, so mobile native, mobile hybrid, browser applications. All of these applications can be actually generated from the same application in Mendix. But I think that it's not about the technology, and not only I think that, but also Gartner made an analysis of what is actually important to drive digital business transformation. And here we see that platform is yet the 5th most important thing which helps you actually. There needs also to be focused on people, portfolio, and process. And I think that Mendix is grasping all of these things. So it's way more than just a platform, but it uses the 4P principle for this. We don't only push technology into the market, but we also help the people change how they do business, how they interact, or how the interaction between IT and business is done. Also the processes, how we do everything. The people also, as you see, need to have the right skills and resources. And next to that, also the platform is of course important, but also the portfolio, which allows you actually to grasp the value of businesses, of business cases. So what can we build with this? And I hope that in the few coming slides we can give you an idea of what can we do with this. But I think, Bart, it's good to also turn it back around to you. How are our partners, our Apyx in particular, how they are implementing these 4P focus of Mendix?
Yeah, thanks. So as you said, Mendix describes these 4Ps as what they call the core tenets of digital execution. So each P comes with an own set of milestones and objectives to drive you as a company towards an innovation factory or an app factory or your low-code center of excellence. And it requires going through 3 main stages. You have the start, structure, scale approach. And regardless of where you are in that journey, we advise our customers to pay attention to all 4 Ps, whether you're in start, structure, or scale. And you can't just start with only focusing on the platform without taking care of the right people, the right use cases. and the right process, being an agile Scrum way of working. So it's really more than just technology. It's how to develop a platform that helps you enable the right people, the right processes, and the right use cases to foster the collaboration between those business stakeholders and IT. So it's actually the ground and the foundation of our methodology when doing projects with Mendix.
Yes, and I can only support what you're saying. I think that this is mainly the success of Mendix is not only built upon the platform and the technology that we use, but also on the people and how we actually implement this new technology into businesses.
Yes, right. The how is much more important. Yeah.
Yes, sure. All right, thank you, Bart. So let's have my team build an app on Mendix, right? Let's go into the use cases now. How we actually are building, or what are we building with Mendix? Well, when we talk about Mendix, we see mainly 4 categories of applications which are built with Mendix. And the first one is to rapidly launch new products and business models. So if we talk about new technologies as artificial intelligence, but also IT, with regards to our Mindsphere platform, we see that there's a need to, in the industry, in the manufacturing industry, to provide contextualization to this data. And so that data is not only analyzed by IT people, but also is used in a broader context where you combine data from different IT systems and you actually apply knowledge, process knowledge, industry knowledge from your process engineers into these applications. And I think this is very much important to do this. Second one is to digitalize the customer engagement. What we see more and more happening is that portals are being developed, not only for machine building companies, which want to strengthen their relationship with their customers, but also for end customers who also try to find more interaction with their customers to actually to be more, or to answer more rapidly to changing customer requirements. And then a third one is to improve operational efficiency. It's more internally focused, but is often a huge enabler in order to make the factory smarter. And so to make certain workflows, to manage them, or to manage your quality, and to do inspections, for instance, before goods come in. And also the fourth category, to modernize core systems. See that a lot of aging systems are in the manufacturing of different technologies, sometimes Excels, which are used to as applications actually, or which contain huge amount of information and which are not synchronized to the same data, which sometimes create different views on different topics and which result in conflicts sometimes. But I think this is a fourth one, which helps actually to optimize systems, and not only old systems, but I also think to modern systems, and to extend modern systems with certain features that you didn't have, or maybe to create something yourself where you would need to buy another application for this, which maybe it has 80% of all features which you don't need, and you can just easily extend using a small application on top of the rest of your IT systems. So to come back to the app services of Mendix, and I think this is of vital importance, is that we integrate into different systems, that there are a lot of different connectors. Here you see different Siemens connectors, but Mendix can integrate into any system, that you can really easily collect data and visualize data from different systems into one dashboard. And I think this creates a huge importance, that we get rid of the silos which are currently existing in different manufacturing contexts, and that we actually provide transparency in everything what is happening on the shop floor, but also in the design phase before, for the performance of our products. And to show an example, I want to give a live demo, a recorded demo of a plant inspection and maintenance application that we have built, where we show actually the benefit of combining different systems with each other. So what we do in this application is combining different data sources. So we connect IBM Maximo data to get service data of different assets. We connect to SAP systems to check the stock of different components that we have. Here a pump is mainly used. And then we also integrate into the application with our MindSphere platform, which actually triggers notifications when anomalies are detected, and they can, this allows you to actually really rapidly, or before things are going bad, to respond to issues that are coming up. And then a fourth one is the connection into Teamcenter, where we actually have our PLM data, which allows us to create, to gather our BOM data, for instance, documentation and so on, related to the assets that we are monitoring. So this creates an. So here you have an overview of the application, where you have the OEE data, you have the availability data and performance data. Here we are monitoring a site where we have 2 ovens. So you have first of all, a main overview of what is happening in your shop floor, but you can also see that we get an alert that there has some unusual activity been detected with one of our assets, and then we can actually click on the view assets, and we will be directed to the right assets where the anomaly was detected. So let's skip a little bit. So here we see it in our oven 1. We see that there is a spike in temperature. This was detected by our MindSphere system, and we can see that actually the problem is related to air pump 1. And we can see there that we have an increase in our pressure of our pump. So what we then can do, just canceling the noise, we can click on our team, and then we have a full overview of who is in our team at the moment. Let's go a little bit fast. Who is in our team at the moment? So who can, of our product engineer, process engineers, which can help us to do services on this incident that we have logged. So you have seen we have unusual measurement detected with a pump. We can then schedule this, so we will assign an engineer to the problem, and then the engineer will get the notification of us on his cell phone. So you can see he has received a notification on his cell phone, and now you can see, okay, let's view the work item. And then he gets a full overview of every step that he needs to do in order to check what is wrong with the pump. So for one, let's see on which he clicked, but what we can see, if we need to perform a shutdown, for instance, we need to go through different steps. We can easily click when a step is completed. And then we also have the documentation of the oven, for instance, in the same application, which we can consult if we have some troubles, for instance. And then once we have performed all the safety checks, we can actually see if the pump is still in warranty. So we can here gather the maximum data of the service warranty, for instance. And then we can see, okay, here the airflow pump 1, has failed, as we saw in the previous overview. And we actually need to replace this pump. And if we go a little bit further, we see that from our maximum data, this pump is out of warranty. So we need to replace this. And within the same overview, we have then our SAP stock available to us. And we can actually check if this pump is still in stock or not. You see it? And we can just click on the right pump that we want to have delivered, and the item will be delivered to the engineer. So this actually shows a nice flow, I think, of different applications, of a use case where we use data combined from different systems, and where Mendix is actually managing this data and pushing notifications towards the right systems in order to actually have the customer interact with one interface, and actually in the backend, a lot of different systems are happening for him. So another example which we wanted to mention is Agristo. This is more related to a supplier portal. So what Agristo did is that they wanted actually to, they had issues that they lost fresh products due to sometimes different farmers delivered potatoes on the same day, for instance. And this resulted that they couldn't process all potatoes fast enough, and which resulted actually that they lost some fresh products. So what they have now created is a portal for their suppliers, where they can actually plan and see when they can deliver their potatoes, and that everything is managed more properly, and that we avoid the loss of fresh products in this way. They also use this to inspect quality. So Mendix is also used to optimize actually the quality reporting. So they have built a mobile application which allows them to measure the data or input the quality data, and this allows them to gather a standard view on the quality data. Another example is of a Dutch car manufacturer, where this is also related to quality, where they actually inspect the vehicles they have produced, and they use a mobile application which they have built with Mendix to actually input all the different data that they need, so that to see if a mirror is broken or a light is not functioning, for instance. This is important. And then I think another reference, Bart, I think it's better for you to explain this.
Yeah, this is a project we did. It's more in a warehousing context, but it's a first project, and afterwards what we have to do is we'll also build applications that will be used in an offline context for each site to help operators do their work more efficient. But this was a first step, is to automate some tasks in the warehouse. This screen is what the warehouse people see on a Honeywell barcode scanner, which retrieves information from SAP and does actions like stock move, goods issue, and so on. So it's also a nice example where you integrate any backend system with Mendix and display it on any device, whether it's an iOS, Android, In this case, it's an Android-based Honeywell scanner. So, yeah.
Right. Thank you, Bart. And then to conclude, we wanted to keep it short. I think you also saw it in the demo. I think it's of vital importance for our IoT platform also that we can actually contextualize and interpret the data using our low-code development. So this is why we actually integrated MindSphere and Mendix together with them. And I think that this is also contributing a lot to getting the right data on the right moment to the right people. So I think this is one of the main things. And also what we previously talked about, the new business models which are rising. I think that IoT is playing a huge part in this. And the combination of IoT and low code may actually really push these new business models towards new customers. And actually, we already have a few customers which are actually implementing a servitization or a new business model at the moment. So one of the two of our customers are SKF and Grundfos, where they see that by just creating products, they can't make the difference anymore, or they want to provide new service towards their customers. And this is where we're working actually together with both our products, our Mendix offering and MindSphere, in order to provide new services, so pumping or rotation as a service towards their customers in order to have a stable and continuous input, actually, a revenue input. So that was it. I think we have some questions in that. The first question is for you. So was the complete application built in Mendix for the mining company application? Bart, we can't hear you.
Yes. So the application was indeed completely built in Mendix, meaning that the front end is completely built in Mendix, but it connects to SAP. And so all the logic, of course, we reuse it the way it's set up in SAP. The company's chosen not to change the backend system. So if they are in need of a change, they choose Mendix to build new applications. But the screens and everything you see on the barcode scanner is completely built in Mendix, yes. Another question is for you, I think, Victor, is when you have an ERP, when there is a Mendix application running and collecting data from both Teamcenter and SAP ERP, if the user needs to log in himself into Teamcenter and SAP, or if it can be handled in a microflow or anyway. But yes. I think.
Yeah, so this can be handled in a workflow if needed. And I think also related to these integrations, I think it's very much important if we allow business also to play around with this data which you are using. Governance is also very much important. Who gets access to which data, and how does for instance, a business user knows which data he can actually use in order to create an application together with IT. I think there also the new plant, or it's coming up at the moment, the data hub, which allows you actually to do a discover as a business user of which data is available to you and which data can be used in order to create new applications, for instance, is something which is of very much importance that these integrations are more and more becoming very much important. And I think that one of the main benefits of Data Hub is that it allows you to make it scalable and allow business people to get access to the right data at the right moment.
Yes, thank you. And also, question is, how do you manage the communication between Mendix and SAP? In this case, it went via OData Web Services, which is, I think, standard protocol within SAP. And what we've did, and it was explained in the previous webinar, is that we have a starter application that connects your SAP system with the Mendix environment. So you can run it on SAP Cloud Platform, but you can as well run it on MindSphere, for example. So, but in this case, it was via OData Web Services. So, any more questions? I think this one is for you, Victor, is how do we extend the OOTB Team Center connector for our custom data model? I don't know if this is a...
Maybe I need to pass this question towards Sam, which is also our technical expert more. But we have like...
What was the question exactly? Because I can't see them.
Yeah. So how do we extend the out-of-the-box Team Center connector for custom BMIDE data model to display our custom properties?
Well, in the Team Center connector, you have the basic Team Center IDE already implemented, and through inheritance, you can put your own custom Team Center objects, custom BMIDE objects in the Mendix database layer. So since, for instance, you have an issue and you had made a custom object about that issue for your own company with some extra fields, you can just in Mendix also replicate that custom object by inheriting all the fields from an issue and adding your own personal additions to it. So this is perfectly possible and is actually quite easy to do.
I think this is also important, what Sam is saying, in accordance to the Data Hub story, which I mentioned, which provides a catalog which allows customers really to browse also through your the custom properties that you have defined within your Team Center environment, for instance, and that they also have access to this, and that you can govern who has access to which data, depending on if this is a customer-facing application, for instance, or an internal application.
Okay. I didn't see any questions coming in, so I think we can wrap.
We have one question. Are there any ready-to-use templates applications like display equipment or notifications or work orders existing for SAP to have inspirations or to copy? So yes, we have existing templates which you actually can use. So these are available in the Mendix App Store. So there you have templates from which you can work. And also Mendix provides you not only with a public application store, but also with a private application store. So if you are building applications yourself, you can also reuse templates or oblige that people need to use certain templates in order to have one standard of data.
Yes.
Yes. Some also posted it in the chats, so you can see it there.
Yeah. And we also have a starter application which also comes with those out-of-the-box connection. So we only need some configuration to your SAP backend system. So, okay. Yeah, if you have more questions, feel free to send them via email to me or to Victor. at any time. Left to say is the last webinar we have at the end of June is where a colleague of ours with Apyx and some from Siemens will build an application. We will start off by creating a beer hunting application so that the kids can take pictures of those teddy bears behind the windows. But then let's see how we can transform that into a enterprise corporate application within a service environment, for example. So it's a nice way of showing the capabilities of Mendix. And we also released our first blog on the website, which is actually our vision of why to start with low code. So it's a small read, perfect when you're waiting in any virtual lobby. I'm sure it's only a 2 or 3 minute read. So Victor, thank you for your story and sharing us some insights, and hope to see you all at the 23rd of June.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.